Hi everyone, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. This is FC with CappersDirect.com here to bring you guys your first look preview for Bellator 293 that goes down on March 31st. Let's not waste any time, guys. We could get into last Bellator and how we killed everything, but let's not get into it. Let's just get into the main card right now. All right, guys, looking at your main event, we have Marcelo Gome versus Daniel James. Let's look at Marcelo Gome first. Marcelo Gome is 10-3. He's 30 years old, 6'3". The guy's coming in here very, very confident in his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. But Marcelo Gome is not opposed to standing on the feet and getting landed on and also landing on you. But at the end of the day, in this fight, knowing all the things that are going down, Marcelo Gome is talking about getting this to the ground. And sometimes he does struggle to get it there. Now let's talk about Daniel James. Daniel James is 14-6. You look at the guy, he's 41 years old. You're like, this guy has no chance. This guy doesn't have a chance to beat anyone in Bellator. But what did he do his last fight? He went up against a wrestler that a lot of people didn't expect him to come out there and do what he did. Some people did, but a lot of people didn't. He ended up getting the knockout in the second round, and really, he looked great. And then when you start looking at Daniel James a little bit further, the guy's won some great fights. Granted, if this goes to the ground, he's probably going to get submitted, but is it going to get to the ground? That's the question. Currently, I look at this and I say, Daniel James, I can see why people like him. I can see why he's being picked here to get the first round KO. But Marcelo Gome, he knows how to fight. He's a fighter that likes to stay in the fire a little bit too long, and I think that's why people are on the Daniel James side. But if Marcelo gets this down, it's Marcelo Gome all day. And so I look at this fight and I favor Marcelo Gome slightly as of right now. But I got to make sure that Marcelo Gome is coming in here with the right mindset. Is he coming in here having drilled takedowns with some really big athletic people that can shun takedowns? If that's the case, then I can see why Marcelo Gome's favored. But if Marcelo Gome's coming in here and be like, oh, I'm going to strike with him. I'm going to strike for the first 3 minutes and then I'm going to take him down. Daniel James is super live for the KO. Super live for the KO. So as of right now, I favor Marcelo Gome, but things could change this week, guys. I'm telling you, things have changed in the past because you get all this information about camps and you go in and you're like, okay, I have a really good solid picture. But then the week of the fight happens and then you realize, man, he really, while you're getting all these reports and you're seeing him do all this stuff, maybe he really didn't do all the real work that a lot of people thought he did. Maybe he didn't push himself. And you start seeing it in that week. So a lot of times, some things change. I'm not opposed to it, and you guys will see it. So make sure you get that write-up on Thursday. Don't forget, Bellator is on Friday. So that write-up is going to be coming to you on Thursday. But let's get into your next fight. All right, so let's get into your co-main event. We have the return of Kat Zingano versus Leah McCourt. Guys, this is a weird matchup. Let's get into the Kat Zingano side. Kat Zingano is 40 years old, but what does that come with? Actually, she's about to turn 41 soon. That comes with a lot of experience. She is a wrestler. She likes to maul people. She doesn't necessarily have a ton of UFC, or I say UFC because she used to be in the UFC and she did really well in the UFC, but there isn't much of like MMA years on Kat Zingano. She had a couple years there where she took off, but she is a wrestler at heart, so she does have injuries, back injuries, knee injuries, different things that have happened over the years. But one thing that she has shown, especially in Bellator, is that jumping from the UFC to Bellator, that she is a little bit better than some of these Bellator fighters. She is a little bit, just a slightly better, just a little bit more of a physicality towards her. And she's a wrestler at the end of the day, so she tries to get people down and then maul them. That's her current mindset going in. And looking at Leah McCourt, I mean, Leah McCourt's 30 years old. She's a lot younger. She has really good submissions. She fights off her back. She knows how to sweep. She knows how to do things. I think Leah McCourt all week has been looking very, very good. I mean, she looks leaner than normal. Sometimes she comes in a little heavier, but she looks a little bit leaner than normal. With women, it's different cycle things. There's a lot of things that go into play, but she looks really good this week. So, I mean, right now, Kat Zingano is like a -400. I understand why. Kat Zingano is purposefully coming in here to take Leah McCourt down. Leah McCourt has been beaten by people that are not wrestlers, people that are just really great strikers, because she was taken down over and over repeatedly. And people that have good grounded pound are able to stifle some of those submissions. So all day, I see why people are picking Kat Zingano, but Kat Zingano, almost 41 years old, not knowing what we're going to get, going up against someone who's a little bit younger and hungry. I mean, Kat Zingano's been beating people in Bellator that have been like really low level. I mean, not all of them, not all crazy low level, but lower than her. Leah McCourt is lower level than Kat Zingano, but eventually Kat Zingano, that age is going to creep up to where the level of her level is going to now dwindle. You know what I mean? It's catching that at the right time. And Bellator, I think by putting her in this spot against someone like Leah McCourt, they're saying something. I mean, Leah McCourt was known as a prospect, one of Northern Ireland's like gems. And why are they putting her up against Kat Zingano? So Kat Zingano can wipe her out? You know, like there's a lot of question marks there, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people believe. I honestly think Leah McCourt has a shot. So you may end up seeing a underdog lean or dog of the night pick on Leah McCourt when it comes down to Thursday when the write-ups come up, but I see it being closer. I'm going to have to find out. I mean, I got to have some really good information to see Kat Zingano at a minus 400. I mean, she's got to have a tight game plan. She has to be on point. I have to see her in there beating dudes that are just people that are bigger than her. And I have to see a lot of things in order to be like, oh, now I see it. Now, there it is. There it is. That's why. There, obviously. But right now, I'm not seeing that. I'm not there yet. I may get there. But let's get into our next fight. All right, so let's get into your next matchup for Bellator 293 going down on March 31st. We have John Salter versus Aaron Jeffrey. Let's look at John Salter first. John Salter is a wrestler who has amazing BJJ, or pretty good BJJ, but he's 38 years old. Honestly, in talking to John Salter, he's looking at a first-round submission. Really, that's what he kind of has to go for because the gas tank isn't necessarily there, but let's look at Aaron Jeffrey. Aaron Jeffrey's 30 years old. The guy is powerful. He has amazing strikes. He just got finished knocking out Austin Vanderford. I mean, the guy is nice on the feet. Very, very powerful. And usually, if you look at the history of Aaron Jeffries and sort of the way he loses to people that take him down. He loses to these pretty good wrestlers. Now, Austin Vanderford is an amazing wrestler, but in that matchup, it was very, very weird. And you could sort of see how Jeffrey's starting to get a beat on some of these wrestlers and really timing things pretty well in the gym, even against wrestlers, really trying to work hard on that, working hard on the fact that he knows that that's a deficiency on his side is the takedowns. But guys, John Salter is a dog, really, really experienced. I actually think that John Salter has a chance to get the first round submission. The fact that he's even thinking first round submission, I know I'm going to get it. I know I can get it. I can see things on this kid. I'm going to just jump to a leg, jump to double leg, jump to single leg, do whatever I can to get him down. The fact that he's coming in here with that mindset, super live. Now, if he doesn't get that first round submission, or if he goes out there and gets punched in the face and drops because John Salter doesn't have a chin, doesn't have a great chin, can be knocked out. If any of that happens, I mean, understandable. Aaron Jeffrey is a beast, powerful guy, beating a guy who just fought for the title recently. I mean, just made him look silly. Look really, really good. I mean, I can see why people are taking Aaron Jeffrey and saying Aaron Jeffrey's definitely going to go in there and get a first round knockout. But I have a slight weird suspicion that John Salter's going to go in there and get a first round submission. So as of right now, I'm leaning that way. But again, I've only talked to one of these guys, so I only know John Salter and what he has to bring, and the fact that he's thinking along these lines is really good. But Aaron Jeffrey might come in here with something completely different, and things may end up changing on Thursday. But as of right now, John Salter's super live for the submission in the first round. I think that's what ends up happening. So I think as of right now, as an underdog, he's a huge underdog. You can pick him up. I don't know if I'd bet it really, really big as of right now. I don't think the line is necessarily going to flip-flop or change too much. But you guys want to tune in Thursday. A little more information gathering needs to be done for this fight. But let's get into your next fight. All right, guys, so let's get into your next fight. Your next fight for Bellator 293 going down on March 31st is Jaleel Willis versus Ruslan Khabilov. Guys, the return of Ruslan Khabilov, actually. Let's look at Jaleel Willis. He's going to be younger, taller, longer. He's really, really decent to slash good. Very, very athletic frame. Very athletic guy. Likes to get in there and mix things up. Has pretty good striking, but has known to be susceptible for takedowns and ground and pound or really submissions. But Jaleel Willis is one of these guys that can come out here and wrestle, but sometimes doesn't. He doesn't necessarily have the best fight IQ. For this fight, he is coming in here sharp. He is coming in here ready. He does have a pretty good game plan. I mean, a lot of people are expecting him to win. In a lot of respects, he should win. He's favored here. But Ruslan Khabilov is a UFC standout from back in the day. That's the thing. He's returning. I don't think he's fought since 2019. This is a guy who suplexed Vince from Hell Pichel and knocked him out. I mean, just belly to back suplex. Just got him. I mean, knocked out Vince Pichel. The guy has amazing striking and amazing grappling. He's had a few issues throughout the years, really injury issues and some weight cutting issues didn't really cause him to be his best in some fights that he lost. But the guy was a winner. The guy won in the UFC, but things happen, right? I think he last fought in Russia in the UFC. I can't even really remember. That's how long it's been. But I do remember those suplexes, and I do remember a lot of things from Khabibulov. And I'm going to talk to Khabibulov this week. I can't wait, actually. It's been a while since I've seen him. So, but at the end of the day, guys, I know a lot of people are liking Jaleel Willis. This card is going to surprise a lot of people on where we go on some things. Going to really surprise people, but I think Ruslan Khabibulov is going to have a chance to win this fight. I think he's still good. I've seen him recently. Recently, what I've seen on training footage is that he's looking pretty sharp, looking pretty good. I'm going to find out this week if all that is either cap or if it's for real. I'm going to find out this week. But as of right now, another underdog. I'm liking the underdogs on this card. I'm just saying. Ruslan Khabibulov. I'm going with Ruslan Khabibulov, man. I think he's got a chance to win this fight. As of right now, he is let me just check. I just want to make sure. Plus 140. So not even that big. He was bigger before, but he's plus 140. I like Ruslan Khabibulov to win this fight. I know Jaleel Willis is good, athletic. I know he's going to be longer, taller, like I said, younger. I know that he should win this fight. I can see why he's favored. He's had chances where he's been able to shuck off people taking him down and getting takedowns himself, but I worry about his gas tank. I worry about his chin. I worry about his aggressiveness. He can come out here and really knock some people out. He hits that hard. In the gym, he hits so freaking hard, guys. Jaleel Willis hits hard. And I can see that confidence sort of going into the cage, but, you know, people are throwing their heads. There's a lot of head movement. People are trying to take you down. You can't just sit there and set your feet properly and just cock back and just thick diesel just pop. You can't. It's not like that. In the gym, it's like that, and that's why a lot of people look amazing in the gym. But Jaleel Willis, while he's athletic, he's very powerful. He strikes and he throws very technical things. He throws his shoulder first to just drag his. I mean, he just does a lot of good things, but. Man, I'm just not ready to just write off Ruslan Khabibulov. I like the guy. I remember the guy from way back. I haven't talked to him in forever, so it's going to be great. I've seen some footage on him, but it's going to be great to catch up with him. But let's get into your next fight. All right, so let's get into your last fight on the main card. And the last fight for this first look preview for Bellator 293 going down on March 31st, this Friday. We have Sullivan Cully versus Luke Traynor. This is a weird fight. I'm not going to lie. Luke Traynor is a good fighter. He was a very, very hyped prospect in Bellator, a guy that they thought could fight for the title. Now, that was over there overseas, and he was really their big ticket overseas, one of the big tickets, a guy that they threw up there, and he was like always a huge favorite. And really, you saw holes in the guy's game. Like, damn, he floats that chin up there a little too much, and he likes to strike so much when really he's really great on the ground. Why doesn't he just take these guys down? I started talking to him, very, very intelligent individual, but also an individual who purposefully does things in fights, but they don't necessarily look like the best fight IQ. In talking to Luke Traynor, he's like, guys, I need more experience on the feet, so I'm going to try to stand up. And then what happened? He ate some shots, and you saw the holes really, really start to expose him. And you sort of saw that, why does he float his chin up there? And while he's really good, sometimes he gasses out. Sometimes he's just not there in the third round. And so, man, Luke Traynor, hype prospect, a guy that, I mean, I think at one point he was like minus 1,000 against other guys. And we're talking about big favorites, minus 600, minus 300, minus 400. A lot of the big favorites coming on the side of Luke Traynor. And now they're like, oh, well, like, all right. Here's another very hype prospect, but we're going to fight in California. And Luke, I don't think you've ever fought outside of England or outside of the UK, outside of that area. Let's bring you over here to California. Let's bring you. What are they thinking? Like, are they expecting Luke Traynor to win this fight? Because as of right now, I'm seeing a lot of people liking Sullivan Cully. And right now he's favored at minus I think he's minus 260. Good Lord, Sullivan Cully only has 5 fights. Granted, Luke Trainer only has like 7. He lost one that he wasn't supposed to lose. But guys, let's look at Sullivan Cully a little bit. He's really a Ryan Bader prototype. He's a disciple of Ryan Bader. The guy looks pretty much just like him. When you watch him train, you're like, is that Ryan? Did Ryan Bader get younger? No. That's Sullivan Cully. He fights like that. He goes in there. He has a little bit of a better chin, I would say, because a little bit. He's a lot younger, but a little bit younger than Ryan Bader, so he has a better chin. But he has that amazing wrestling, and he can go to that wrestling, and he's really, really good in that aspect. In this fight, Sullivan Cully's looking to actually knock out Luke Trainer. Last I heard, Sullivan Cully's been training his hands and really working them. He wants to crash the pocket on Luke Trainer. Luke Trainer's very long, and he likes to strike long, but Sullivan saw a lot of the things and a lot of the holes that a lot of people saw on Luke Trainer. If you crash in, you can catch him. And so Sullivan's looking to crash in, possibly catch him, but if he doesn't catch him, looking to grab him and take him down. Now, that's where Luke Trainer's going to have submissions off his back. Luke Trainer's very, very slick, but Sullivan Cully, he plans to go in there, get the takedown and ground and pound, crash the pocket. Actually, he really thinks he's going to crash the pocket and land a knockout. He really believes he's going to get a knockout, but he may end up crashing the pocket and missing the knockout and having to get the takedown and probably looking at a ground and pound or maybe even getting submitted himself. He's not as savvy as Luke Trainer on the ground. Luke Trainer's going to have that's his path of victory, I think. Luke Trainer, yeah, maybe he can knock him out on the feet, but I mean, Sullivan Cully crashing in doesn't necessarily give way to the long limbs and the long, elongated striking. Usually crashing in is a way to combat a lot of that length. So I don't necessarily there are a couple of things Luke's been working on, uppercuts and things like that may end up playing a factor, but I see this as Luke Trainer. He needs to get this to the ground. He probably is going to get taken down, and Luke Trainer probably needs to grab a submission shortly after. That's if everyone comes in here in shape and looks good. Everyone looks good so far. I don't know how that jet lag is going to do with Luke. I get to find out this week. But you guys are going to tune up to that right up on Thursday. Thursday, we're going to have a better picture on this fight and another one on the main card. But as of right now, I actually think Sullivan Cully has a chance to really make a statement out here and put away Luke Trainer. Now, where does Luke go from there? I have no idea. But Luke is also live for the submission, so you can't really just go all out on some guy who's only had 5 fights and is well over a minus 260 favorite. Like, that's just crazy to me. You have to look at Luke Trainer. He's the value side. You have to look at him a little bit harder, a little bit more in depth through a microscope and be like, Luke, do you only have really one method of victory, and that entails you possibly getting taken down and throwing up a triangle, which doesn't always work in MMA, or trying to grab an arm? I mean, possibly that could be the case. He's done it before. I just don't know if that's necessarily a high percentage play, even though it's value. But again, it's value. Right now, I guess I have to say Sullivan Cully. I guess. I mean, not this big, though, guys. Just stay away from this fight. Unless you hear something from me on Thursday. Stay away from this fight. That'd be smarter. But yeah, guys, that's going to be your Bellator 293 preview. Now, if you like this kind of video, be sure to give it a like and be sure to subscribe to the channel. A lot of you guys click on these videos and don't subscribe. Don't be that person. Subscribe to the channel. Also, turn that bell notification on so you guys get notified every time that we drop anything, because usually when we drop something, very, 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 very important, very informative, or it's going to put money in your pocket. So you're going to want that notification on. Comment down below belly. We need the comments for the algorithm, guys. Comment down below belly. Just put a whole bunch down there. Belly, 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 belly. That's all I want to see. Belly, 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 belly. Comment down below belly so you guys can help out this channel, because I'm telling you guys right now, Bellator 293 is going down on March 31st, this Friday. And Friday, it's going to be a great day to win, baby. Let's get it.